Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. That's scary, only because this customer went from a Neanderthal who uses cuss words and basic thought process and picks fights for no reason to someone who wrote a polite, articulate letter to corporate. WTF. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Give me my food first, then I'll pay. I live in a Canadian city and work in a fast food restaurant. Saturday mornings there tend to be a lot of people calling off and claiming to be sick. This day was no different. It was a cold -30 Celsius Saturday morning. I was working drive-thru with one other employee. We normally have 3 or 4 people working the drive-thru, but like I said, people tend to call in sick. Storefront was packed and there was a lineup going out the store. Only 2 people were working when normally there's 4 or 5, just to give you an idea of how busy it was. I love days when it's this busy. Makes the shift go by fast. Seeing as it was so cold, normally we switched the window person with another position every 30 minutes or every hour if it was busy. It was my turn on window/orders. I was doing great, had a good flow, the line was moving fast, everybody was doing the best they could. You always get 1 or 2 a-holy customers. For the sake of this story, let's name this one AH. Beep, beep, beep. Hello, may I take your order, please? Yeah, can I get a medium coffee, regular, and a cheese croissant? Sure, that'll be $3.75. Pull up to the next window, please. Eventually, the man makes his way to the window. Already, I could tell this wasn't the best of mornings for him. He was driving a big F-150 truck. Already, he was intimidating. He had change in his hand and was reaching out the window, waiting for me to take it. $3.75, please. I start reaching for the change as I can see he's ready to go. Give me my food first, as he pulls his hand away. Sorry, sir, I need to take your money first. Give me my food first and then I'll effing pay. Sorry, sir, your food's ready, but I need to take your money first. I'm starting to get confused. What the F? Why do you need to take my money first? As he shakes his head in disbelief. At this point, I was very nervous. He was visibly angry. It was as if this was a life or death situation. He needed his coffee and croissant first, even though he had the effing change ready in his hand. I didn't know what to do, and people on storefront were already looking at us. It's policy, sir. I need you to pay before I can give you your order. Me. That's the stupidest effing policy I've ever effing heard. The coffee's right effing there. You can't just give it to me before I effing pay? Here, effing stupid. Slams down the change. It was the exact change, $3.75 flat. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. And I hand out the order. At this point, I'm pretty shaken up. I have no ability to process what just happened because already he's driving away and the next car's pulling up and the beep, beep, beep is in my ear. People are telling me I dealt with that customer very well and are patting me on the back. I mean, he was yelling, full out yelling. Customers were looking, shaking their heads apparently, and the manager on duty told me to take a couple minutes and told me I handled him well. But next time if a customer swears at me, I can, by law, deny him service. I felt good knowing I was in the right and carried on with my day. Not to say he didn't ruin my mood a bit, though. For the rest of the day, I was in complete disbelief of why he acted that way. Did I offend him? Why was he so angry? He had the exact change already. A couple weeks later, my manager calls me into the office to speak to me. Now, even when I did nothing wrong, I always get frightened thinking I was in trouble. As I'm sure we all do, she tells me a customer called and wrote in to complain about me. The written complaint went something like this. Hi and good afternoon. I'm writing to you today because I am completely disheartened by your company. Never in my life have I received such terrible customer service. I went in yesterday morning. Not only did I wait 15 minutes in the drive-thru waiting for my order to be taken, which by the way is a big lie. Sometimes it happens, I'll admit, but this day wasn't one of them. We were on our A game. When I finally reach the order box, I'm greeted by an insanely rude young lady who basically cuts me off and tells me to pull ahead. When I get to the window, I see a young girl who seemed to be a manager. I was wearing the manager's sweater as it was cold out, and she's demanding my money. I politely ask for my order first, and before I even finish, she cuts me off and tells me it's effing policy. I'll repeat, never in my life have I received such customer service, let alone from a manager. Please get back to me and let me know what you can do about this. And please get rid of these awful managers. A.H. She told me she was there and she'll be calling the district manager about this. Not only did he ruin my day, but he also tried to get me fired. Just another day working in the customer service industry. And our second story. Do not lock your car in the car park? All right then. Working in a pharmacy located in a medical center shaped like a T, pharmacy located on one end of the arm, general practitioners located on the other end with specialists having rooms between us. Medical center covers whole width of the block with 2 car parks, one on each side of the building, each side of the T-body, so unable to drive directly across from one to another. There are designated spots marked by professional title, pharmacist, pathologist, radiologist, doctor, etc., at their closest car park, with other bays marked for either 15, 30, or 60 minutes, excluding disabled or delivery parking. Got a doctor who just parks in any bay, like in the pharmacy car park? Gets frustrating as the pharmacy closes 30 minutes before the doctors do, all the specialists being closed no less than an hour before the pharmacy closes, and we need to lock up the car park on our side of the building when we leave, and they lock up their end when they leave. Every night, somebody goes up to the doctor's reception to inform them that there is a car there and they'll need to lock the gate once they leave. It's the same system for both gates, just an unnecessary hassle to walk across the length of the building. This goes on for about a month before we get a building-wide email from the building head stating the rules of the car parks, indicating as per the rules clearly stated on the car parks, cars will be locked inside if after stated hours. Surely enough, that night the doctor parks in our car park and we leave that night with it locked inside. That was last night. And while I didn't open, there was some confrontation between the doctor and the pharmacist in charge about his car locked in the car park, and the pharmacist requested the doctor send the pharmacy a formal email to not lock his car in the car park. Email was received and forwarded to the building head straight away. Right now, about an hour before closing, we've called the building head to get his car towed away. Per rules of the car park, it's been several hours since parked in a 15-minute spot, and per his email, did not want us to lock it in our car park. I've just gone down in person to the doctor's reception, and they've called and left a voicemail message for the doctor to move his car as we're preparing to close. Update 1. Building head is here, informed of situation, and has seen email exchange with doctor. Tow truck has been called. About 30 minutes until we close. Car still in car park. Update 2. Tow truck come and give. Car now towed away. Car park locked up. No cars inside. We'll update tomorrow with reaction. Update 3. So apparently building head had tried to see Dr. Toad to get the car moved before the tow truck was called. Apparently, and thankfully, the doctor was on a short-term contract, explaining only having issues for the past few weeks, so it was not difficult to terminate the contract for Dr. Toad since they were not following conditions of the contract. The evidence of the email, parking violations, and something else that was going on in the clinic between Dr. Toad and fellow staff, but alas, I do not know what. Since the doctor was contacted multiple times to park his car in the right spot and to move his car that night, the building head had the right, authority, and no issues to tow the vehicle. The building head even had a printout of the email saying that Dr. Toad did not want their car locked in the car park when he yelled at her last night that there should be reimbursed for the impound fee before the building head asked Dr. Toad to leave the premises before the police were called. Great way to start the workday, knowing we should hopefully not see Dr. Toad again. And our last story. All Army service records lost. This happened a few years back. My dad found out he's super allergic to some kind of shrub in Central Texas, Fort Hood, after he was transferred there. As a result, he was restricted to office work and prohibited by Army doctors from outdoor duties. His West Point grad commanding officer was a hyper-warrior kind of dude who detested soldiers who didn't want to train 24/7. Unfortunately, he thought my dad was milking his allergies in order to avoid being a real soldier. My dad was also married, and my mom was pregnant with my older sister, a situation that infuriated the captain because #reasons. The CO never ever passed an opportunity to humiliate my dad by questioning his manhood, doubting his commitment to protecting the Constitution, disparaging his duties, etc. The CO would call him out in front of the company or debase him in front of higher HQ staff. He'd call the house at 6 a.m. on Sunday and order Dad in for bullcrap reasons, anything to piss him off. In short, he made his life a living hell. For what it's worth, the first sergeant loved my dad's work performance and said so privately. When my dad got orders to leave active duty, which enraged the CO, he found out that the CO received orders for an assignment that was a notch needed to guaranteed promotions as well as other plum jobs. Dad decided to F with his official records before leaving. As company clerk, he had full access to unit personnel files, orders, etc., which meant he also had keys to the building as well. This was during the pre-digital, pre-computer era. The night before my dad was to get out, he took all the captain's personnel folders and mailed them separately and anonymously to various posts around the globe, knowing full well it would take weeks to deliver them to geographically unrelated unit mailrooms around the world that may or may not open the packages in order to return them. It just so happened that the unit was in the field for a 2-week exercise on the day my dad left, which meant a skeleton crew would man the phones and mow lawns until they returned from the field. No one was the wiser for weeks. One of my dad's old poker-playing sergeant buds wrote a few months later telling him that the captain went ballistic, that the missing files seriously damaged the F-face of a captain career prospects since some of the files were lost in the system. Therefore, the coveted assignment orders were canceled, and the entire personnel record had to be reconstructed manually by the Department of the Army. My dad said it was a teaching moment for the cruel a-hole that you should never F with your unit clerk, because even chairborne rangers know how to seriously wound enemies, foreign and domestic. Good for your dad. We don't need an a-hole like that at any higher of a level. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.